welcome to the Goodman podcast. Today I have a very good friend of mine, Aishwarya, or Ash as we know her with affection and love. I know her for many, many years. I had the pleasure to even attend her wedding. And as it happens, she has been a pivotal part of my journey in Bangkok. So, Ash, welcome to the Goodman podcast. Tell us, who is Ash?
Thank you so much for having me. Very difficult question, but Ash in this phase of life is more of a mother, a striving entrepreneur, and wife, daughter, trying to balance
That's
life.
that's aw-
That you
that, that's
ask
awesome. I
me
mean,
in 10 years, it might be different, but that's what it is right now.
yeah, I think as entrepreneurs, as business people, our answers change as we are in different phases of our life. So I can see how that might change, but I can see what you're saying. It makes a lot of sense to me. Obviously, you're somebody who is super entrepreneurial. Recently started this drink called Orri, which is Thailand's first sparkling adaptogen beverage. That's the can. As you can see that all across Thailand now, and especially in Bangkok, you can see in different markets. Tell us, what challenges did you face when you introduced this product to the market? I mean, tell us how did you start this whole product and the journey which you've taken so far?
Sure. First, before I say anything else, maybe I'd like to start with the inspiration of why, I wanted to do something new from what I was doing before. So prior to Ori, I've been for almost 12 years an agro-commodity trader. I'm still an agro-commodity trader now. It's a very B2B business, but deep inside, I always wanted to have a business that is consumer facing. And it just happened that there is a significant growth happening in the healthy beverage industry, and we'll be seeing that in future coming as well, even in Thailand. So we wanted to tap into that. The journey was personally for me. I have a co-founder, Pat, who is lovely, but personally for me, the journey was difficult in terms of mindset because I've been quite good with what I was doing and also very comfortable in terms of being a trader running a commodity firm uh, for 12 years. And starting a new venture, it was more of a mindset challenge for me. And also being in Thailand, there's always other challenges like language, if it's not your first language. For Thais, it's easy. But for me, I still face that challenge. Also, going into a category that is dominated by multinationals, that was very challenging and still poses to be a big challenge to us. But more the product itself has been received very well, so the journey is getting easier, but as we move forward we keep learning new things, which is challenges in every step but also opportunity.
Understood. Obviously, we're looking at a mind shift, a mindset change or a mindset shift. It is not easy. But what was it in this opportunity with adaptogen beverages which made you want to jump on this opportunity, apart from the market obviously being outperforming perhaps? What was inside you which wanted you to do this experiment perhaps, or this opportunity to jump on it?
So for me it also comes from a very personal space. Keshav, he's my husband, and he loves sodas and he mostly ends up drinking a lot of coke, and that also goes with several members in my family. And I wanted to have an option for them where they drank something healthy, or at least they got to choose between beverages that are sustainable in terms of your health and that are good for you.
And for people who don't know what adaptogenic beverages are, what is it exactly, and how would you explain it to say, a somebody's in like a fifth grade, for example?
Okay, adaptogens are basically a class of botanicals which we've known for a long time in Ayurveda and Chinese medicines, which help you balance body stress hormones, help you with the immunity, helps you with the focus. So if I were to tell you turmeric is an adaptogen, that is true. Black pepper is an adaptogen. Ginkgo ginseng is an adaptogen. Elderberry is an adaptogen. Beta-glucan is an adaptogen. So it is just a termed coined to put all of these together. So in our drinks, we've used uh, ginkgo and ginseng in one of the product. And the other we've used beta-glucan and tart cherry and elderberry, sorry.
And ignore my absolute ignorance, as it were, and pardon that. But obviously, I know that turmeric, for example, or turmeric, or these are anti-inflammatory drinks. In fact, yesterday we had a very interesting event at EO Bangkok where we talked about how to reduce inflammation. Is Orri a drink also which helps with that? Is that the main benefits of it? How would you categorize the benefits from a nutritional point of view or the benefits of the body?
So we market ourselves as drink that helps you balance the stress hormone, and also helps. So as a brand, there are a lot of things you can highlight, but at this time we chose to highlight the fact that we help you balance your stress. And also it's a mind booster. It helps you with the immunity at some point, but when you are listening to us in media, it's something that balances your stress.
So basically, to some extent, like a Red Bull, but all with all the good benefits to the body,
Yes.
or even
And
better.
that pumping heartbeat.
That's it. That's it. And so at the moment, where are you with Ori? Are you actually pushing it at retail outlets? Is it more is it going back to B2B or is it more B2C? How do you see it?
Yeah, sure. So we are pushing it in all three directions. As we speak, we are available at around 120 physical outlets around Thailand, and that will increase significantly with the more signups of retail stores that will be doing modern trade stores. As for consumer uh, B2C, we already have our e-commerce set up, and we'll be launching, TikTok Shop. And as per B2B, we are going after the hotels. So uh, as a brand, as a brand in terms of time, uh, I don't think we have that luxury to take one step at a time, because there is a lot of competition in the market, and also there is a need for a product like this in the market. So we went out all hands, all different directions, and yeah, we're going out that way in terms of marketing and distribution.
Fantastic. That's it's very exciting, and I wish you a lot of luck and success. And obviously, send those cans over at our place. We always love Ori in our life.
Your wife is a big buyer. I mean, I remember when we launched the product, what she was one of the first person to buy at Tops, and she practically bought out half the stock that they had.
Yes, and that keeps getting bought at home regularly. I see Ori at home all the time. So I'm glad we can support and we can be part of the journey. Obviously, it's an awesome drink, and as you know, Stu is a big
Thank you.
proponent of healthy living. So thank you for bringing health in our lives.
Thank you.
All right. So going into the next thing, which you obviously, which has been, you mentioned before, it's been a big part of your life the last 12 years plus, has been, I believe it's called AGT Ventures, and has been thriving under your leadership for more than a decade. How did you identify and capitalize the opportunity in the market, like in Myanmar, Vietnam, Nepal? How did it come about, and how are you currently using your knowledge and your influence in the space to do more of it? Tell us a little bit more about what you actually trade, for instance.
So when we launched the company, we were doing mostly for raw materials for laundry soap manufacturers around Africa, and that evolved as the years passed by. And now we are completely focused on supplying raw materials to poultry feed industries. And in this, the raw materials include soybean meal, animal protein, and other vegetable protein. So in terms of the market expansion, it didn't happen. It happened very gradually, actually. Once we saw that demand in one market was getting low, we had to put the other foot in different market just to catch up with how much we wanted to supply. So having said that, now we are in almost close to 4 or 5 markets, and yeah, and the products that we've been selling hasn't changed. It's still the animal and vegetable protein. So we've become quite good in terms of selling these 2, 3 commodities.
Obviously, now you have two different businesses. Sort of sometimes there are crossovers, sometimes they are not. Do you believe that the learnings you had from the first venture, um, AGT Ventures, helped you with Orri, the drink, the retail opportunity?
Yes, I think the crossover here happens with my growth. It doesn't really necessarily happen with the business itself because it's a completely polar opposite businesses. But of course, because I've been in agro-commodity trading for 12 years, there are a lot of things you learn as a trader, and that helps with startup even after 12 years. And those are all personal traits and personal learning.
I love that. I love that. I think at the end of the day, we are growing, we're learning, and perhaps we look back at every 12 months and say, I wish I knew what I know now. And that's awesome, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is.
Obviously, you are a serial entrepreneur. You have invested in different businesses. What do you look in a startup before you invest into it, or perhaps into a business sector you're going to get into? How do you go about thinking about investing into a venture?
So now when I invest into different venture, I look at the people who are running the venture or who will be co-founding with me. I think that relationship is more important than any other aspects in businesses. When I invest in businesses, these are not big investments; these are smaller investments. So it's driven by individuals who are likely to drive the company. So that's what I look into, and uh, that ease that you can contact that person to ask general questions or even just get through them, or their drive, their hunger, because a lot of the investments that I do, I cannot drive the company myself anymore, but I can give them certain ideas and knowledge that they require for the business.
I love that. I love that. And I think the success stories you have had so far, where you have invested money and it's gone, which is double X, triple X, or maybe even further, or maybe just learnings for yourself.
um, no, in terms of financials, none of the investments that I've done has 4x to 5x as of now, but it is also because of the market that I've invested in. Most of my investments were in Nepal, and it's a slow growing market, but the investments are in place that I know they're safe. They might not 4 or 5x, but they will, go 2x at some point. The personal learnings for me would be to diversify the markets a little bit because investing only in Nepal, it's a bit challenging because you have several investments in one market and they all face the same challenges at the same point.
Understand, understand. And I believe you have invested in a company called Max Living or Max Living Nepal, which is a
Yeah.
one-stop solution for kitchen equipment. How did you navigate entering the retail market in Nepal? Perhaps you were already in it. I'd love to hear a story of how did you start this Max Living Nepal venture.
Sure. I shouldn't take the credit on the retail side for this. I work with a partner of mine called Ninesh. He's also very entrepreneurial. So he takes care of everything Nepal front, and then I do everything that requires to do with the brand. And since we both work together really well, we decided to form a company and start marketing, bringing brands into Nepal.
I love that. And any learnings from maybe on differences between a retail business versus a trading company? Do you find that there are some similarities and differences, any opportunities from one to the other?
When it comes to retail, I think you take a lot of pressure on you once you have the product. When you're doing trading, you do a certain thing and you're done. You don't need to revisit that contract for a long time at all. Actually, once the product is delivered, you're done with that. But with the retail, you hold the stock, you are liable to sell it, and you want to sell it as soon as possible. Yeah. So, sorry, what was your question? What's the learning between?
Yeah, between trading businesses versus retail, are there any similarities, differences, or perhaps is there one which you find is better for your way of thinking or being?
So for me, in terms of better of thinking, I think I still like trading. I like it when I like the high of a contract, and once it's done, I don't have to think of that again. But retail is something that keeps your mind engaged, and that's what I like about it. It doesn't end. Like it shouldn't end because it's a 360 journey with the customer and with the brands.
I love that. Obviously, to be an effective leader, unique leadership style is required across different diverse businesses. How do you manage to stay effective across these different businesses? I mean, you're literally wearing different hats at different times. How do you swap hats and when you're required to, and how do you stay effective as a leader?
I think is I'm very adaptive. I don't bring my ego of one business to the other. So if I am doing really well in one business and I have had a business for a long time, there's a certain way of learning. There's a certain way of leading that company. But if it's a startup, I wear a completely different hat. I'm willing to learn. I'm on the ground with my team, and I'm willing to stand on high heels for 8 9 hours if I need to. So it really depends on what journey of your business you're in and how willing you are to change yourself and progress as a leader from there on.
Apart from ego, are there any other leadership qualities you believe are crucial or critical success in today's business landscape, especially when you have different type of businesses, B2B, B2C, retail, trading businesses involved?
I think uh, apart from ego, I think your willingness to learn and your want of not wanting to be right all the time. So these are, like, for me, I think it's the ego with your ego within yourself, and also while you are talking to other people, not assuming that once if you've had success in something else that will replicate with the other, and willing to unlearn what you've learned.
Understood. And
Poor leadership
looking at,
style change in all of this.
yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I mean, looking at your journey so far, what lessons which you have learned, which you say would be essential for aspiring entrepreneurs, either in Thailand, Nepal, UK, you name it, anywhere? What would you say are some of the skills or learnings which you think aspiring entrepreneurs should learn from you in your journey so far?
I think from when I look into myself now, I think as an entrepreneur, you should always be willing to take risk, willing to set a front foot, and then willing to try your ideas. If your ideas are in papers, it's only as good as it is in papers. If you don't try it in real world, it doesn't really make it anywhere. And also willing to put in your hard work and discipline. I think that is very important. I try and be disciplined a lot. If you as a person are well rounded in certain way, any venture or any ideas that you have will succeed unless it's not market, or unless the market doesn't accept. But if you have grit and if you are ready to put in the hours, ready to put in the discipline day by, you don't, because you don't see results in a day. It is a long process. Even if the product comes out in a market, the time you see green profits are years apart, and you see the light, so you have to follow that. Don't give up halfway.
I love that. Kudos to you, Ash, because I know from my own experience, I only invest in B2B companies which are tech related or around perhaps events. So looking at, you're obviously an inspiration for myself because you are able to maneuver on different businesses. And that's awesome. It takes a lot of courage and experience. And as you mentioned, having rounded approach and experience to deliver that. So that's really awesome. And just a question on that, where do you see, what's your vision for Orri and AGT Ventures in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you see this in different direction from right now? Where do you see it?
For AGT Venture, I never meant to grow the company very big. I wanted to be a small sized company. I wanted to be bootstrapped. I want us to have the same kind of commitment to the clients that we have right now in over 10 years. We want to grow with the companies that we work with when they just started. And companies have grown with us, and that's beautiful to see. And I want to maintain that. I love the trading part. I love seeing the market go up and down, and I don't want to change that. I'll always be doing that. That's my bread and butter for the rest of my life. But for Ori, things are changing a lot. Ideally, we want to exit, we want to do an IPO, or we want to keep a company growing with different SKUs. But
Yeah,
it's too
I
early.
noticed. Yeah, and that's definitely fine. I mean, we have to have a vision for where businesses might be. They might go down a different path, but it's good to have a
Yeah.
vision we want to follow. I also noticed that obviously sustainability and innovation seems to be at the heart of your ventures. I don't know if that's true or not. If it is true, how do you see these elements shaping the future of your businesses?
So, for Ori or for AGT?
I guess more for Ori, but I'm guessing for both.
Okay. For Ori, we try to bring sustainability and innovation. Innovation is through the product, through the development of the product. My co-founder is a food scientist, and we're constantly looking to innovate. The moment we launched our first two products, she was already in work to develop a line of different products. In terms of sustainability, we look at the product packaging, we look at what we're printing in, we look at where our ingredients are coming from. We're still very young in terms of all of this, but the basic at this point is at least looking at the packaging, which we're doing.
I love that. And obviously, when it comes to innovation, I remember hearing somewhere that Coca-Cola was first sold at pharmacies. And that's how they began. And then obviously it became a trend. And Coca-Cola, Pepsi are one of the biggest brands we know around. Do you feel in a similar way adaptogen beverages are going to become the future of global wellness trend?
Yes. In UK, in Australia, it's already the trend. It did arrive in Thailand a little bit late because we had influx of other kind of drinks like CBD drinks that came in the middle. Adaptogen in Thai media wasn't known much. We had to do a lot of marketing around that. But 2 days ago, we had one of the big media houses cover the word adaptogen, and they had like 45 minutes talking about adaptogen. So we feel like people are talking about it, and it is going to be the future of at least Thai Thai healthy drinkers. So it's here to stay.
I love that. I love that. And thank you for sharing the information and educating. I didn't know what adaptogens before the way I know it now. So thank you for sharing and educating not only me, but also our audience as well.
Thank you so much.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about another platform or way we are connected, which is EO, Entrepreneurs Organization. I'd love to understand in Ash's life, what role has EO played in your personal and professional growth?
Okay. EO is very dear to me. I joined EO about 7 years ago, and I look forward to being in every event that they have, every learning event or every forum meeting that we have. Personally, EO is my space. So we have something called forum where seven or up to seven people are put together, and then we meet every month where we discuss our top 5%. And for me, that is very valuable. I talk to my forum members about things I don't speak to anyone else, be it business, be it family, and or be it myself. And I'm very lucky to have forum members who are leaders in their industry. So when I sit with them, I get information that no one else in country can probably provide me. So that's something I really value. And that's also a big cause of my personal growth and the learning events that, of course, you as a president are part of as well, organize. That's also very valuable for me. I love listening to people. I love see, and it's not the when you have learning events, you have a whole day session, or let's say you have a 2 hour session. And in all of that, you hear one thing and it ticks your brain. And I'm waiting for that one statement usually, and I love those moments. In professional life, EO members and EO give I'm very open to telling them about my ideas, and they give me feedback that I really need as an entrepreneur who's constantly looking for things that are new in the market or doing things that are new in the market. So people giving me their 2 minutes, EO members. That's more than anything that I require. Or even validation to my idea, or telling me it will not work. You know.
I love that around forum and learning events and just experience shares. For I would say for most EO members, there's this one moment which sort of what was their memorable moment from EO. Mine was being in Banjaran Hot Springs in Malaysia, where we all EO members got together and discussed the deepest, darkest moments, and I remember we all cried for an hour long, talking about our lives and the darkest moments. Was there one moment in EO for you which perhaps was a memory for you? Could be good, bad, could be ugly. Was it one thing which you can not forget about your experience, one journey, one particular point, one event, perhaps?
I think I can talk about an event briefly. It was the event, I think, made a real impact on me because I do visit my notes. Thanks to you, I put all my notes on OneNotes now. So I keep visiting Vijay's session on scaling up that was done a couple of years ago. And that seemed to have been quite helpful. And it related to me then. And also now I relate to it. So I think this was the first scaling up we did, not the second one.
Is that one with Vijay?
Yes, correct.
Well, big shout out to Vijay. And if he's listening to this podcast, obviously, thank you. I remember that first one. It was a absolute game changer for us. So thank you, Vijay,
Yeah.
for joining. Awesome. One more question, just to kind of wrap up a little bit about the EO experience. Obviously, you're involved with EO Bangkok Metropolitan. You're part of the board as well. What advice would you give to other EO members who are not part of the board yet? What are the value created for you joining the board apart from the forum, which is obviously, as you mentioned, a group of people? Was there anything which you saw that has changed your life, for example, or perhaps added value to your life as a entrepreneur?
Yeah, it definitely has added value because it is being an EO board is my first experience to doing something that is almost like being accountable for a volunteering work. Like, and I feel like personally this is important because in future I do want to run foundation. So being accountable, uh, thanks to you, we're now learning what is it?
EOS,
EOS.
entrepreneurial offerings. Yep.
Yeah, so learning EOS. Also, it's about showing up and being responsible for a community's experience in EO. I think having that accountability really makes me feel a lot of, it makes me feel fortunate, and I like that part. Leading members who don't want to be led in certain way.
Or if I might put it in this way, leading leading leaders is not an easy job. And as board members, you have to lead leaders, which is a very encouraging yet challenging role, but adds a lot to my learnings on a daily basis. And have to be respectful, be kind, because you're not paying the board members, we're all doing it voluntarily, aren't we?
Yeah, and also for me personally, it's way out of my comfort zone, and I'm not. I do seem like an extrovert, but I'm actually a very introvert person. I don't like meeting new people, but as an engagement chair, I do have to go and meet people. And I like the fact that I'm doing something that is not true to me. I'm pushing my boundaries a little bit. So if you were to join the EO board, I hope you find roles that you're not comfortable with and do it anyways, because that's how life is.
We have a very uncomfortable role available next year if you want to join that role.
Yes, I've heard about it.
I'm pushing that role fairly hard, but that's part of my job, right? My job is to push things and push people to do something which is not in their comfort zone, because that's how we make true high grit entrepreneurs in the ecosystem we belong to.
Yes.
Excellent. Ash, today has been an awesome learning experience for me. I learned a lot from you today. Thank you for sharing. Where can people find more about you online? Perhaps a website, LinkedIn?
I have a LinkedIn account which I don't update, but maybe in a few years you will learn more about me. I'm just trying to put my head down and keep working now.
Maybe is there a link for your drink where we can go and find out more about Ori?
For Ori, you can go www.drinkorri.com. I've never done this before, but yes, www.drinkorri.com. But we have a very good Instagram page. It's still growing, small community now. It's called Drink Ori. You can see our journey there and learn more about the drink.
That's fantastic. So it's DRINKORRI. There we go. I love that.
ORRI.
So if you're not able to see the video on YouTube, that was Ash with a can of Ori for us, and that I think is a
You,
beautiful
you've,
way.
you've never had anyone promote their product so much on your podcast.
Well, usually I'm always not a big fan of promotion, but this is an adaptogen which will replace some bad habits of people. So I say, yeah, why not? Well done for thinking about not only sort of obviously ourselves, but also for the community around to have a healthier, better life.
And also, if people need to drink something while they're doing their podcast.
100%. This could be the drink you should be having when you drink podcast. So there we go. I love the way you position the drink. And on that note, Ash, I was want to say thank you very much for today for coming today. I've learned a lot from
You.
you, and you've inspired me. And I not only think what you're doing is commendable, but also very adventurous, and risk taking is a part of your DNA. Also, big shout out to women entrepreneurs like yourself who make our ecosystem to really be worth being part of. So kudos to you and for success and growth in the future for you. Thank you.